Hi folks, Sam with Salem Kettlebell Training here, and today I'm going to talk about the black sheep of kettlebell training, the bicep training that you can do with kettlebells. So normally we either don't train the biceps directly because we've got other pulls, rows, pull-ups that are going to help to train the bicep along with a larger muscle group, the lats, and all of the muscles of the upper back. So the bicep is being trained, it's just not necessarily being trained directly. Same thing with our one-arm swings. The bicep is on stretch that whole time and has to be in control of the position of the bell to some extent. So the bicep is on, so is the pec. When we're doing our one-arm swings, our cleans and snatches definitely use the biceps. So even though we don't necessarily train them directly, they are being trained with the majority of our kettlebell upper extremity movements and some of our hinges as well. So there are three different bicep curl variations that I want to talk about. Two variations that we'll do with just one kettlebell, and it better be a light one. And then one variation that we'll do with two hands on one larger kettlebell. So I want to talk first about a kettlebell called the Zottman curl, kettlebell curl called the Zottman curl. So I'm going to have my kettlebell in hand. I don't need to keep a neutral wrist necessarily, so I'm not looking for that wrist position. I'm just going to let it hang. And I'm going to curl up with a supinated grip, palm up. Near the top, I'm going to turn the hand to a pronated grip, palm down, and return the bell down. So even though, yes, this is a bicep curl, this is very much a wrist curl as well. So I'm getting a lot of activity in the wrist extensors and the wrist flexors by trying to control that bell position on the way up and on the way down so that the bell is just an extension of my hand. It's actually really challenging. So that's the Zottman curl. You can do this with one or two bells. Most everybody has one light bell hanging around during this closure, so should be able to do it with one of those. If you don't have a bell that's light enough, that's okay. There's another variation. So the wrist can either laterally deviate or medially deviate. When we do this next curl variation, we're going to ask it to not do that. So I'm going to use just a slightly heavier kettlebell, and I'll curl without letting it fall down. So it's trying to pull down here. My goal is to keep it from doing that. And even if it does do that a little bit, I'm still training, again, those forearm muscles. So brachioradialis as well as brachialis in the upper arm, and then all of those wrist deviators are being trained. So we've got the Zottman curl, in which the bell is supinated on the way up, pronated on the way down. We've got the anti-deviation curl, which is a neutral grip, so basically a hammer curl, but for the kettlebell. And then finally, we've got a two-hand kettlebell curl. You're going to grip the bell as though you're going to do a halo with it. So grabbing here. And then glue the elbows to the trunk, lock the legs, squeeze the butt, lower the bell with control, and curl up. All three of these curl variations are very wrist dominant, so they may not be for the person who's recently undergone some kind of wrist surgery or is in post-rehab with a wrist surgery, nor necessarily an elbow surgery. So if your elbows and wrists are in good health These are some great ways to incorporate biceps training into your kettlebell work. They're fun, they're goofy, and actually really freaking effective. If you've got a strong grip and a strong forearm, the rest of you is going to be strong. It just has to get involved from stem to stern in order to stabilize. So that's one of the benefits of kettlebell training in general, and it applies to the curl variations that I've demonstrated here as well.